What is going on, everyone? Griffin here, coming at you with some Fixer gameplay, and today we're going to be talking about the rogue changes that came in the 3.5 Bounce House update for Rogue Company. So let's head over and let's talk about it. So for those of you that do not know, Rogue Company has moved all of their updates and patch notes over to the Rogue Company Steam page. Whenever you go to the Rogue Company website, it just has the last update as the Dima update, where you had like the Dima, it was the Sushi Mac and the Dima Future Samurai skin or whatever it was. I can't remember exactly what update it was. But if you go to the Rogue Company Steam page here and you scroll down to the recent events and announcements, this is where you will find the update, and they have a couple of updates from the past on here. I'm not sure if they're pulling everything over from, the historical update side of things, or if this is just something that they're going to try to scrub the past for and release this new information. But let's head over here and check it out. So for Fixer's been struggling with win rate for an extended period of time. When he's not used as a direct counter to high armor foes, his kit struggles to keep up. These changes are directed at increasing his general utility in matchups against a broad set of rogues. The dramatic change to his smoke grenade cooldown should give him a much stronger ability as a defender to hold down lanes and stall pushes, and give him a higher chance at being able to achieve his full kit synergy in single life game modes. So the ability cooldown was dropped down from 45 seconds down to 35 seconds. Epic padded steps was slotted out and epic crack shot was slotted in, and the cluster smoke cooldown went from 60 seconds down to 20 seconds. For Sigrid, she has been struggling with being a viable rogue and sits at the bottom of our rogue pool in terms of win rate. She's challenged when she attempts to close gaps versus lethal gadget wielding foes, and as a breacher, there's a deep conflict there compared to rogues who have kits to help them in those scenarios. So they are reworking her passive ability. So her passive ability previously was a 20% increased movement speed while crouched. They changed it to where now it is a global 10% movement speed all across the board. Whether she's running, whether she's walking, whether she's crouched, 10% movement speed across the board. And then they slotted out Rare Blaster with Rare Armor. So for Vivi's ability is strong when initially popped, but rapidly fades. The shorter cooldown capabilities we've added here are directed at letting her experience the initial power spike of her ability more often and reduce the time between those spikes. So her ability stage presence cooldown was dropped from 30 seconds to 20 seconds, and then they slotted out Legendary Gadgeteer and slotted in Legendary Energized. So these are all changes that I'm not particularly fond of. I think that they could have done something much, much better with some of these rogues to put them in a better spot and to increase their win rate or make them a little bit better overall. So for Fixer, them dropping the ability cooldown, he also has Energized, by the way, and dropping the cluster smoke from 60 seconds down to 20 seconds, and he also has Gadgeteer, puts him in this weird spot where he's constantly popping his ult, he's constantly popping smoke grenades, and he has epic crack shot now. So for those of you that don't know, if you use Fixer with the devotion and his ability, it is a one-tap headshot again. They brought it back. For whatever reason, they brought back the one-tap headshot capabilities of Fixer while using the devotion. I understand that Fixer's in kind of a weird spot, right? Because you have Phantom, who is a duelist, who has a lot of perks and things in her kit that allow her to be very duelist-minded, very duelist-centric. Then you have Runway, who's classified as a support, but the reason that Runway is so widely played and the reason why that people gravitate towards her as a sniper is because she's less forgiving than a lot of the other characters in the game, especially compared to Fixer and Phantom. She has access to assault rifles as secondary weapons just for free. That immediately is going to make her play rate go up astronomically, just on the fact that she has something better in her pocket other than a pistol. So for Fixer specifically, I don't think these changes were necessarily warranted. I think that a lot of the Fixer problems come down to the fact that it's hard for controller players to be to excel with DMRs. And the reason why comes down to aim assist, and I did an entire video about the aim assist issue in Rogue Company, and I feel like that still holds true here. Fixer's the only rogue that has access to DMRs and has access to sniper rifles, so that's already going to put him in this very, very niche category where someone has to feel very confident with either A, a sniper rifle, or B, at least one of the DMRs to be able to be successful with the character. So you're already cutting his win rate down so much just by his weapon selection that he has access to. If they gave him assault rifles, SMGs, shotguns, anything other than DMRs, his play rate and win rate would go up immediately. And I'm not saying that they should do that. I think Fixer should continue to have DMRs and sniper rifles, but I don't think that adjusting his kit, adjusting his cooldowns, and making him more annoying to play around, whether he's on your team or not. I mean, if you have a Fixer on your team that's popping a cluster smoke every 20 seconds and upgrades it to where it is like the massive cluster smoke cluster that's being thrown out, you're going to get tired of playing around that really, really quickly. I mean, he's going to be throwing them out every 18 seconds with the version of Gadgeteer that he has access to. So nobody's going to want to play around that. Nobody on Fixer's team, nobody on the enemy team. I think that they need to leave Fixer where he's at. I think that they need to look at the core mechanics and the core fundamentals of the game and use that as a jumping off point to why people don't want to play with DMR characters. And that comes down to aim assist. I play Fixer a decent amount, and I have a decently high win rate with Fixer. It all comes down to the fact that I'm using a mouse and keyboard. I don't have to use and hope that the aim assist is going to work so that I can be successful with a DMR. I just point and click regardless of what range that they're at. So that to me seems to be the problem with Fixer. Whenever you look at Sigrid, giving her a 10% movement speed globally, we removed speed and toughness for a reason. Why are we all of a sudden starting to bring speed and toughness back into the game? Especially when there's perks that do exactly what you want them to do, specifically for a character like Sigrid, and we're not going to give her those perks, just even as a one-off trial run. Hey, we're going to slot this perk out, we're going to give Sigrid this, and run with it. Now, on the broadcast, we talked about just completely rearranging her perks, because they're saying that she's struggling to be a viable rogue because she's challenged when she attempts to close gaps versus lethal gadget wielding foes. Well, she has tenacity. Give her legendary tenacity. Make her the Dima counter. Give that to her. She'll have the shield. She'll have legendary tenacity. They can drop legendary life drain down. They could do something absolutely whatever they want to with bulletproof. Bulletproof is an absolutely useless perk, and I'm thinking about making a video on how useless it actually is. But they could rework her perk loadout and also get rid of stem shots. Like, she doesn't need the stems. If she's a breacher, then give her something else that allows her to breach better. Give her a flashbang, give her an APS, give her an EMP, give her a tear gas grenade. Anything other than the stem. The stem is really good for duelist type characters so that they can pop that thing and re-engage and get back into gunfights and be very annoying and very aggressive. Sigrid is supposed to be a breacher. She needs to breach the site. Whenever you give her the stem plus this 10% movement speed increase, she's moving as fast as Lancer is when her ult's popped, minus the evade. So just give Sigrid evade. Hell, give Sigrid evade at that legendary level. Whenever she has her shield out, it'll pop. Allow the evade to work when she has her shield out, whether she's crouched, whether she's not, and let that be what Sigrid is good at. Have her get onto a site very quickly with the perks that she has access to, not with the global speed increase. I think that that's terrible, and I think that that needs to be reverted. Them slotting out rare blaster and giving her rare armor, that makes sense. She has tenacity, armor, life drain, bulletproof. She has everything that she needs to be a good rogue, to be a successful rogue. It's just the fact that the wind-up time on getting the shield out, you take a lot of bullets trying to get that shield out. The armor should negate some of that, so you should be more successful at actually getting your shield out and being able to do what you need to do. The stems are there, and it's supposed to supplement some of the damage that you receive whenever you actually have your shield out and you're moving around. If you're getting shot in the head or in the feet or whatever, they need to just give her tenacity. Give her legendary tenacity. Give her evade. Revert the global movement speed increase. And I think that her win rate will start to go up from there. She's just not a popular character. Some characters are just not going to be popular, and it doesn't matter if you give them a legendary version of every single perk that's out there, they're still not going to be played, and that's just the sad reality of it. And Sigrid's not a bad character. I like Sigrid, and I think she's a phenomenal character, but at the same time, people don't like to play her for one reason or another. Maybe poll the community. Why do you not like playing Sigrid? What is Sigrid's biggest downfall? And then let the people speak to what Sigrid's biggest downfall is. For Vivi, they want people to experience the power spikes of her ability that much more often, right? So they're dropping the cooldown from 30 seconds down to 20 seconds for her ability, and then they're also giving her energized at legendary, which is going to drop her ability cooldown to about 15 to 16 seconds, somewhere in that ballpark. So every 15-16 seconds, she's going to be giving herself and anybody around her a 35 HP bump like that often. That's not the problem. That's not the problem with Vivi. Vivi's problem has nothing to do with her ability. It has everything to do with her passive ability. The fact that whenever you slide, you get locked into crouch. The fact that whenever you're shooting while she's sliding and you start to stand up, the bug's back where you stop shooting and then start shooting again. That doesn't feel good. That sucks. And the fact that she's supposed to be played as a very aggressive rogue. You gave her SMGs. You gave her SMGs, the dual boyers, where you have to be so close to someone to be successful with them, and she's got to be played very aggressively, but you take away the impact grenade and give her an EMP. Now the EMP on Vivi, great choice. I'm all for it. Healing station needs to go. Impact grenade needs to come back. They need to give her something to push with, something to be aggressive with, and they need to revert the changes here with not only energized, but also the cooldown for her ability. If they fix the slide and the movement aspect of the character and give her something lethal to push with, she'll be fine. And if the problem is they want people to experience the power spike more often by lowering the cooldown and giving her energized, why not adjust the power spike? Like, they could make it to where it decays over the rate of 10 seconds as opposed to 5 seconds. That way it's more viable and it's more useful. They could increase the HP that you actually get whenever you pop it. Maybe it does more to Vivi, but it doesn't do as much to other characters. I mean, bounce back in Battle Zone gives more healing. Put that in the game. Put that in the base game to where give Vivi bounce back. If you buy bounce back, then you're going to get increased bump to your overheal. And let that be a thing. Like, there's several things that they could do with Vivi to make her more viable, but giving her an ability that where you have to control the power spike of it, as opposed to like Chalk. You pop his ability while he's up, he gets like 75 HP, puts him at like 175, right? Somewhere in that ballpark. He pushes a site most of the time. If the team is successful, he's probably still got some overheal left. The decay rate for that's over the course of like 10 to 15 seconds, something like that. So it sticks around a lot longer and it feels a lot more meaningful whenever you pop that. If you have something that decays at the rate of 5 seconds that starts decaying immediately whenever you pop that ult, then it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel viable at all. So I think that if instead of like making the power spike happen more often, if they adjusted how the power spike actually works and extended the duration of the power spike, she would be a much more played and a much better character. At least that's kind of where I'm looking at. But be sure to let me know what you think in the comments down below. What are your thoughts on the fixer changes? Do you think that Sigrid needs the 10% movement speed increase globally? And Vivi, what are your thoughts on her as a character? And do you think that the power spike issue is her problem? Or do you think it is another thing that is factoring into it? Be sure to let me know what you think in the comments down below. Also, be sure to check that description for links to Facebook, Discord, and Twitter. Those are the places to contact me. If you haven't already, please be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. If you've already subscribed, then consider hitting that join button to become one of the 256 crew members. Lastly, on Thursdays and also on Sundays, I will be streaming here on YouTube. So if you are interested and available, please feel free to stop by and say hello there. Thanks for watching, guys. She's going to be coming up behind us, I'm sure.
Yep, she's right over here.
Yep. She's one shot.
Nice work, team. Checks in the mail.
Well, there's my fixer gameplay. 114 damage when you have crack shot and you upgrade the gun all the way.
Damn.
Right. Oh my
That's
god.
so stupid.
I wish I could have been in the room where it's like, we got this great idea. Be like, dude, we've already been through this once before. Oh my god.